So we can go and vibe.
Somewhere we can go and vibe. Just together we could get a little lost in time. Oh baby, there ain't nothing holding you up. So come along, I know there's somewhere we can go and vibe. I know there's somewhere we can go and vibe. Just together we could get a little.
What song do you know off by heart?
What song do I know off by heart? Shoot Me Down, by the way.
What song is that?
Yeah,
Which one is it? Not like the chorus. What is it? Sing it.
Okay.
Off by heart, Jonathan.
By heart. So the chorus goes something like, please don't shoot me down.
It's called Shoot Me Down. Hey. Okay. Was high school an enjoyable experience?
No, hell no.
Besides that 1 week?
No.
Okay.
No.
What ideal is most worth sacrificing for?
Being a genuine person.
Yeah.
Being a genuine person always.
Yeah. Okay, what is your personal mantra?
Nothing.
I know
Viti.
No lacking.
You know, Viti all the time. That's my personal mantra.
Okay, yes or no to Shakespeare?
Yeah, definitely, bro.
Do you always match your socks?
Yeah.
Oh, you're such an adult.
Anyone who doesn't is a psychopath.
Then you're not safe today. Do you write bad reviews when you get bad service?
No.
You just move on.
I just move on.
All right. Which day would you choose to relive once?
When I was 10. Yeah. And my grandmother was telling me this story of how her childhood was. I think that was one of the best days of my life. Listening to all of this. So I would relive that day.
And then the most important question, gin or wine?
Wine.
Let's take a shot.
Hello, and welcome to the Queen's Fortress. We are here with spoken word artist, poet, and now soon to be musician, almost EP maker, Jonathan Lefenya.
And this is no surprise, he's bracelet and he's welcome to the fortress. Say VTVT.
I
don't even know. What is this? Welcome to the fortress.
Welcome to the family, Jano.
What is VTV? Like, how do you, because you'll be in a poetry show, minding your business. And then men in the background.
What is that?
So the idea behind it was more of an uplifting statement. When we started, it was just an uplifting statement that whatever you do, you have to do it at your optimum best. And then it became a mindset that everything that you do, you have to use EVTVT to actually go through that day.
Mara EVTVT yini? Mangikhomba EVTVT yini?
Kill it. Everything that you do, 110%.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's
I think I see you put that in your work, and he's actually going to introduce himself with the poem.
Collage. I think the first and only time we saw you perform collage was it CSP?
Word and Sound.
Word and Sound.
Yeah,
and you even had the pictures up and you went.
You see, now that was 150%. That was a beautiful performance. So Jonathan is going to introduce himself with that poem. So enjoy.
Enjoy.
When kissing your soulmate, the butterflies in your stomach will turn into vultures, scavengers feeding on your insecurities. Pet them. To my grandmother, your dry bones continue to grind themselves into seeds. I feed on you. You are growing on me. I have plowed this pain into a garden of laughter. Your voice grows in abundance. Your pupils are raised to the edge of time. Your sight is a dying youth. I wear you to my best occasions. A body that has endured pain for 100 years is immortal. To my sister, your undying spirit has you wearing the noose on your head like a ponytail. This is your crown. You were declared a queen of a kingdom that lets you hang. with friends. Because to you, dying in the hands of familiar faces is the bravest way to go. I'm sorry. I once tried to rip it off your head. I now realize I was helping you kick the bucket that held your breath. For that, I'm sorry. To my brother, you are the brightest blackout on the playground. Look at how your arrival lights up the room. To my mother, I know that you are God, even when you spend most of your time praying for forgiveness. To my friends, you say I'm the funniest person you've ever met. I am dying to tell you this joke.
Hello, and welcome back to the Queen's Fortress. That was Jonathan Lefenya introducing himself with his poem collage. I think that's a very painful poem. I don't know which parts of it or which part of me it touches. You speak of your grandmother, you speak of your sister. When you speak of the noose that your sister wears as a crown, what exactly are you referring to?
My sister has always been this type of person who believes that she needs to save every single person.
Yeah.
You know? So I always felt that she doesn't take care of herself as she should. She takes care of everyone else, but then she doesn't really take care of herself. So the noose represented that you are actually hanging yourself to actually give other people life, and in the process, it's not good for you. So it was one of those things.
Do you think she sees the picture now, or is this something you're still trying to get through to her?
She sees the picture now. I think she's grown, and she realizes that sometimes you have to be selfish with yourself, you know. And put yourself first above everything else.
I know that very well.
Yeah.
Trust me. You also speak of your grandmother, and this is the second time you speak of your grandmother. We know she's like a pinnacle in your life. Like she's who you orbit around.
Yeah.
You know, like, no man, talk to us about this woman. Who is she? What is she? Share memories.
Me Mataro Sana. My best friend, bro. First of all. So when I was young, my mother gave me to my grandmother. I think 6 months old, my mother gave me to my grandmother, and I've lived with her ever since then.
Yeah.
So I've only known her. You know, even when my mom was around, I would only eat my grandmother's food. We would visit.
Jonathan, don't do that.
Like, we would visit relatives at different spaces, and I wouldn't eat. I would only eat when she eats. If she's not eating, I'm not eating. Like, it was that kind of a relationship. Every single thing that she was doing, I am doing.
Yeah.
If ever she says she's sick, now I think I'm sick.
Now
Even
you
if
also
I'm
start
not.
feeling the symptoms.
Yeah,
You're like,
I think I'm also sick. What's going on?
Yeah.
Like, it was that type of a relationship. She was more than just my grandmother. She was my mother to me. You know, she taught me everything that I know in terms of storytelling. She's the first person to share different stories with me. And then from there, I think it grew my imagination. And then at times where she's tired, I would start telling her the very same stories. Then started writing my own stories, telling her those stories. So yeah, man, that lady was my best friend.
with your journey beginning with her telling you stories, do you feel like she understood your stories and the story that you had to tell through your poetry?
To a certain point, I think she did. Even though there was a barrier in language, because I didn't start out writing Kasisuthu, I started writing in English. So there was that barrier. But after a while, I feel like she felt where I was going, and she understood me in that sense. And so yeah, I think she understood those stories.
You actually opened up to a conversation I wanted to have with you. You describe your work as your work flings open the narrow window of language, right? And I want to know, are we speaking language as in tongues? Are we speaking language as in the emotions, the message you're trying to spread? What is this language that you're trying to get across?
I think words can only get you so far. You know, so if ever we look at language as just words being structured in a certain way to convey a message, then we are limiting ourselves.
But is that not what we do?
It is what we do, but then language is broader than that. You can actually get into a show where someone speaks a whole different language that you do not understand, but then you feel every single thing. Why? Because of the emotion that you get from it. You know, so for me, language is not only about words, but also the feeling that comes with it.
Okay, but Sesotho has to wait time because you've been writing in English for so long, and now there's this transition in your work and this growth where you're starting to speak in native languages.
Yeah.
What is that getting across then? Why add that layer to your work?
Sesotho sinketsetsa. That's a beautiful question.
You're gonna write a poem about it.
I feel ka Sesotho I'm more connected to who I am than in any other language. I've been performing in English for so long, but my best performances for me have been ka Sesotho.
Okay.
You know, like Sesotho for me is like the language that I want to actually master, and I hope at some point I'll actually have a PhD and then write my dissertation ka Sesotho. You know, so I'm aiming for that.
You're gonna get that. I'm not trying.
No lagging, bro. No lagging.
When you interrogate your work written in English and interrogate your work written in native tongue, what is the difference between the two writers?
The difference between the two writers, I'd say one is more genuine. Yeah, one is more genuine.
So
and
do
one
you
is
feel
more
like there
true to
is a level of pretentiousness then in your work that you have previously put out in English?
Yeah, I think with most work, at some point you get to that level. When you start up, you write personal poems, and at some point you just writing things.
Were you writing for the finger snaps?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Slam will do that to you.
Slam does that too.
How Fihlako staging and you're like speaking in a way that you read like you perform a piece that's better read than performed.
Yeah.
You can feel like you're so small on that stage, you know?
Yeah.
So you end up needing to put in these lines that you feel like the audience will resonate with, which is something I've had a problem with that for a while. Right? I feel like we can't be writing to reach every single person in the audience, because then that's not the experience.
Yeah.
It's not
of our writing, you know. Anyway, you also speak of your work compelling people to look into the human condition.
the plight.
Yeah, the plight and plethora of the human condition.
Firstly, why does every poet feel like their work needs to be... There's this wormhole that we all climb into.
Yeah.
You know, once we enter the scene of poetry where we want to speak of plight and the heaviness of the human condition.
Yeah.
And we all want to speak about the dark side, and we just climb into this very dark space. And I
Why?
feel like that makes our work a little harder to digest. Not that I'm saying those things aren't important, but every time you leave a poetry show, you leave a lot heavier than when you entered. And sure, there's an importance in that, but where is the lighter side of poetry? Where is it where we're engaging with, you know, the cleaner side, the purer side of the human condition, you know, as people?
Yeah. I guess the thing becomes when we start off, we have this thing that we want to save people. So you being a poet, you are a healer, and we think that in order for you to heal someone, you have to start with their pain first, where everything is rooted, and then work from there. Initially, I also believed that. Like my work was just depression
Darkness.
poems, dark poems,
One after the
one
other,
after the other. Like the entire time, dude, like thinking about, like, I was at that space at that time, and I felt that it worked for me, and many people connected with it.
Okay.
And people told me that it was so much easier to connect with my pain. They felt that they know me because of the pain that I shared.
Yeah.
And then at some point I started understanding, but you're a writer, my guy. You know, it doesn't always have to be about pain.
Yeah.
You know, you can still connect with people with using different emotions as well.
Yes.
And love is another thing that you can use to connect
You
with
know.
people.
Absolutely.
And love is
I've
universal.
never heard
bro.
a love poem from you here, and I'm speaking romantic love. King Haba Oradi.
baby girl, bereka.
I'm actually writing love poems. I've
okay.
been writing love poems for the past. I don't know. I cannot even put
a time
yeah
frame.
put
yeah.
a time frame to it. But I've been writing love poems.
Yeah.
And I'm working on something, a show, love poems only.
Oh, hectic.
So yeah.
Hectic.
Yeah.
What kind of love do you speak of in these poems?
I think the current people will appreciate. Let me just put it that way. Yeah.
Okay, so is it like the pink soft love, or is
Yeah.
it like the grey love that has those grey areas? And what type of love is this that we experience?
Give us something.
I'd say a bit of both, man.
Okay.
A bit of both.
And you're going to put a show together for this?
Yeah.
We're waiting.
Yeah.
Jonathan, you've put it on camera now. You can't take it back.
No, I'm not even taking it back. There's a show coming. Just know. It's a surprise. But it's a beautiful show, though.
Speaking of shows,
Yeah.
I'm so fucking pissed that I missed it. I hate myself for it. But you guys like performing in Tembisa, and that place is
Ma,
far.
guys,
Can you stop putting your
Tembisa.
shows in Tembisa? Can
Yeah.
we stop that? You had Liru La
Mahlomo.
Mahlomola. Yes. What is Liru La Mahlomola? What is that translated to?
A cloud of grief. You know? So it was Lirula Mahlomola, it was like the final stage of my life where I'm talking about all the grief that I went through, and I was talking about my grandmother, every single thing. So Liru was just that, like that final part. Okay, cool, I've done this depression work, it's fine, now I'm laying it to rest. So Liru was like that final piece to
It
the,
was the RIP.
yeah, it was like RIP depression, man. I'm
Oh,
cool
yeah.
now.
Are we
you
still
know?
going to be given a chance to see it?
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. I feel like
Can it be in Joe?
yeah, it will be.
Can we bring it closer? Tembisa's not in Joburg, guys. Tembisa's a city on its own, bruh. Like,
Yeah, it's gonna be closer now. It's
Yeah.
gonna be closer. I felt with the first one, it was a beautiful show. I can still work on it more and make it better.
clean it up.
Yeah. So I
And
wanted
which
to clean
artist
it
did
up.
you collaborate with, or was this just you on the stage?
It was me and Mulifi. So Mulifi was playing an instrument. A beautiful musician. So I was working with him. Apart from that, yeah, it was just me on stage.
Why would I pay
Scary.
100 rand or
And a
150 rand? Why would I pay that?
Lyric is an experience. So if ever you're looking for an experience, a life-changing experience, you have to watch Lyric. I promise you won't leave the same.
What parts of me is it gonna force me to confront?
The parts that you fear the most, you know, the pain that you think you just have to bury and forget about, Lyric will help you search for that pain and find a way to actually deal with it and heal from it. That's the idea behind the entire showcase.
That sounds heavy.
So was
Yeah.
this your writing process? Like, did it feel like unearthing old wounds? What was this writing process like, the creative?
When I was writing you, there were times where I was crying during the writing process because I could feel each and every single poem. So unlike my English poems, I can just write the poem, finish it, and then just put it away. But then with this, I was writing poems and then connecting with the poems. Then after writing the poem, I would actually go back to the poem and relearn the poem until I understand the language of the poem. You know, so the moment you understand the language of the poem, you know, it's like, my guy, this was too crazy. Why?
You
Wild
reminded me
shit.
of our writing process. It almost seems like writing is an otherworldly gift, because when you read the work you wrote, you're just like, man,
Yeah,
this is not me. Like, where did this come from?
which is crazy because there was a time where I would write I would write poems, and then when you read the work, it's like, okay, I don't even speak like this. Then
Yes.
where does this come
It's
from?
okay.
Yeah.
Who wrote this? This is not me. This is
Yes.
definitely not me. Because I can tell you now, it is so hard for me to write a dialogue as a Sotho. Every single thing that I try to write as a Sotho about poem, like I cannot write anything.
So
in
unahana ka Sesotho?
yeah. Now
Yeah.
I mean, now se khona hore ke nahane ka Sesotho, and but I ke kgone hore ke nahane in a simple way as Sesotho ya puo, like the way I speak.
okay.
I cannot.
That seems like an exhausting place to
It
live
is.
in. That seems like a very
It is.
exhausting place to
It
live
is.
in.
It is.
Are you trying to fight your way out of that cage, or is it a place that you're just gonna learn to be comfortable with?
I'm trying to fight my way out of that place because at some point I have to write love poems ka Sesotho. So if ever I'm always in that space, how am I gonna reach that part where I actually write love poems ka Sesotho, man? So yeah. hopefully
Imagine
at
ho
some
shalwa
point.
ka Sotho. It is Sesotho se
Sesotho
monate.
Yo, guys, Sotho boys are it. Like, Sotho boys are
This is
it.
bias. Don't listen to this girl. This
Guys,
is
Sotho
bias.
boys, I'm telling you. Do you see how my skin is glowing? Sotho boys.
Sotho boys.
Okay, so we're about to head into a song, and after the break, we also have a man who put in his work on a one-manish show, and they're gonna go head to head in a little game about shows and shit. So it's gonna be fun. So we're gonna play a beat by Sirius, right? So I think it was in season 2 where we had an artist randomly freestyle over one of her beats, and that was epic.
We should do that to poets.
Yeah, we're gonna do it to poets. So
Not today because it's cold. You'll have mercy.
Thank goodness.
so we have a beat of hers that we're just gonna vibe out. And if you have anyone you wanna hear on this beat, let us know. Shout out.
It's serious, not serious.
Hello, and welcome back to the Fortress. That was a beat by Sirius. That was Chalo for breakfast. Like, this lady makes beats for fucking days, and
She
they
eats
slap
beats
so
up.
hard.
Yeah.
We're still in the Fortress with Jonathan Lefenya. You're starting to look like a madman, by the way. Are you aware?
I'm starting to look like a man.
Yeah, have you seen some of your pictures when you're on stage?
I'm like, who did
Yes.
Which one is this one?
Which one is this one now? All right, so we're going to play a little game with Jonathan. We're going to test your knowledge. I guess you decided to go into theater. You don't want to be only a poet. You want to be a theatrical what. So, we're just going to just dip your foot like in the theater Pontiana, and you're going to be playing against the young man who also decided that he wants to go into theater.
I don't know who these poets
I don't know who these poets think they
but
are.
it's fine.
We're going to have Soli on the line. Poetry on the line. So yeah, y'all are just going to be going head to head on this game.
Yeah, it had
And
to
we're going to
my
be testing
brother.
your skills because we can. Let's see if this man answers this. Hello.
Oh, hi.
Hello, sweethearts. How are you?
I am good, and how are you?
We're
Fantastic.
good,
So we have
sweetheart.
Jonathan in studio, and we're going to play a little theater-based game. So I'm going to give you guys the rules, and then we're just going to jump straight into the game, yeah?
Awesome.
All right, so we're going to ask you guys questions, and the answer is a term. So we're kind of going to give you definitions to terms. So Jonathan is going to write his answer down, and you're going to say your answer, and then we're going to compare your answer to Jonathan's, right? So don't say your answer until we ask for it, just to make sure gore ha copy.
Yeah, we have to make sure of that.
We have to make sure that we're safe.
Okay.
All right, cool. You ready to rock? Are you ready to
I'm
rock,
here.
Soetri?
I'd like to believe I am.
That's like there's a flippant delay. Are you in Tembisa right now? Because there's a hectic delay.
I am not currently. I'm in Winterfell.
All right,
It's like
cool.
really cloudy and everything. and
Yeah,
we
the
had
weather's
fun
not the
people.
one.
All right, if Jonathan loses, he takes a shot. If you lose, one of us have to take a shot. Yeah, you'll nominate one of us. Please don't lose.
You better lose. You better
Because you
lose.
know who I'm gonna choose to take it down. Okay, that's
You
what I
better lose.
All right, cool. So I'm going to start with the term. You're going to say, when Jonathan is done, he'll say done. Then you'll give us your answer, right?
Okay.
Cool. And guys, we only accept 70% here, ne? We don't accept 50%. 50% is for losers. All right, cool. Question number 1. And this is all about theater because you guys decided that you want to play with theater. So you're going to play with theater for real.
Hey,
Eish.
what did we get ourselves into?
All right, number 1. A person who supervises the actors and other staffs on a film or theater.
Awesome.
Okay,
Huh,
Jonathan is done.
Soli?
I'm director.
Yes.
Jonathan, let's see.
Director.
Okay, that's 1-1. Okay, nice start. Okay, number 2. What are the lights that illuminate the auditorium where the audience sits in a theater? The lights that illuminate the audience in an auditorium in a theater. You want to see the audience? You ask for the.
Jonathan is
shaking. I don't see his cookie moving on that whiteboard here. Jonathan, are you forfeiting?
I'm forfeiting this one.
So
My answer is house light.
Yes,
you,
Soli.
Oh my God.
Focus, Jonathan. No, in fact, don't focus. Soli, you must win. We don't want to take shots. Okay, number 3. Is it true or false that the word prop in theater terms is short for property? True or false, the word prop in a theater play is short for property?
Jonathan, are you done?
I'm thinking.
He's playing. Jonathan is
blinking.
Yes,
This was one of 2. And Soli's so calm where he is, bro. So let's rock. What's the answer? What's the answer?
Oh, flip. I think it's false.
Okay, Jonathan. True, Jonathan is correct.
This one.
Prop is short for property.
So liberekisa di prop mara halito.
Yo, we should like prop this like a whole word.
Proposition, mhlambe.
Proposal.
All right, number 4. A brief pause in an actor's delivery of a line to emphasize a moment is referred to as a what pause? Is it a dramatic pause or an intentional pause?
Come again with the statement.
A brief pause in an actor's delivery of a line to emphasize a moment. Is it referred to as a dramatic pause or an intentional pause?
Okay.
Jonathan's done. Soli, what's up?
Dramatic pause.
Aha. Jonathan?
If Jonathan isn't the king of dramatic pause, Jonathan
Okay, question number 5. What is the box office in a theater used for? What is the box office in a theater used for?
if you don't know
box
this,
office
I'm
with
gonna
them.
be so
I'll
disappointed.
be very disappointed in you guys. Jonathan, I don't see your cookie moving.
I think it's a sad. How do you get a box office? Le batlang ko box office.
Box office.
Jonathan.
Ooh, Soli sounds so calm. Are you drinking tea there, Soli?
I think it's the warmth.
This is probably
Out
wrong.
here in the cold, and I don't know why.
Jonathan is done, Soli. What do they do at box office?
To buy tickets.
Aha. Jonathan? I saw the relief on your face. Like Jonathan breathed. You're like so concerned.
Come to my show. Come to my show.
Let me work a tiny ticket.
Online.
You new age fucking kid. Okay, number 6. A long speech by one actor in a play or film is referred to as a what?
Soetri should know this one. If Soetri is not the king of this, then
So
I don't
what are
know
you the
what
king
is
of,
he
Papa?
doing.
The north.
No, Soetri, answer the question.
What is it? What's number 6's answer?
Okay, I can say the answer. The monologue.
Aha, Jonathan.
No, you guys. I feel like everyone will take shots if both of them tie.
They're not gonna tie, Moose. Unless if they
They
fuck
are
up
gonna
here.
tie because Soli fucked up once, Jonathan fucked up once.
You guys are doing a decent job at least. This is the last question. Question number 7. The person responsible for designing the scenery on a stage is referred to as what?
Yeah.
Soli, are you found shaking now?
Oh no, I'm still warm. Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay, Soli, let's hear your answer.
It's a set designer.
Aha, Jonathan.
The set design. It's a Masai
Okay, kids. I'm actually very impressed. When we were setting this game, we were laughing like, yeah, they're never gonna know.
Soli, thank you so much for sitting with us in the fortress.
Thank you very much. I was so scared. I was hoping you guys won't ask me what's the first floor of of the theater?
I don't even know, sir.
We should have asked you about that little square on the stage that actors disappear from. Do you know what that is?
What do they call that?
Ke trapdoor. La bona mara, I should be in your place, guys. What the fuck?
Yeah, I see it.
Thank you so much, Shirley.
Have
Stay
a beautiful
warm.
day. Stay warm.
Thank you very much for having me. Fun day.
Yo,
That was Soliso Chiramadzu. He's an amazing poet and now a theater actor. You guys should check him out on social media. He has a play that just keeps coming back. It's the play that keeps on giving. Hopefully it gets out of Tembisa. But yeah,
it really is an
tuned.
amazing show. It really is. If it ever comes to Joburg, it really get yourself a fucking ticket and go.
It's beautiful. All right, so I wanna your journey in art starts on the slam stage, like many of us, right?
Yeah.
So you slam in college poetry shows, and then you go on to win 7 college championships. What does this say to you as an artist? You're just starting out in the space. What does this mean when you're on slam stages for colleges and you're winning these things and you're writing more and whatnot? What is the first communication you have with poetry?
How it first started.
Yeah.
I was watching a slam in 2014. The finalists were Thando Buthelezi, Zwande Pengu, Xabiso Vili, No Life, and Nkosinathi Ka. It was at the Soweto Theatre.
The fact that you remember everyone who was on stage.
The first time watching a slam, and I get to meet Mutle. I got to, the show started at 3. I got there at 10 a.m.
Why, Jonathan?
I don't know.
What did you think was going to happen at 10?
I don't know. So when I get there, there's no one at the theatre. Obviously, it's 10 a.m.
Yeah.
I meet Mutle. He asked me, okay,
what
why
year
are
was
you here?
this?
It was 2014, I think. He asked me, why are you here so early? I said, I'm here to watch a slam. My guy, it starts at 3. Why are you even here? So we start talking. I love writing, but I've never really tried it that much. I've been writing, but I'm not that good.
Yeah.
Mutle says to me, if ever you set your mind to it, at some point you will be good, you know? And then we have that conversation. I watch the slam. Thando wins the slam that year. Afterwards, I send Mutle a message on Facebook. He responds. That message, him responding to me at that moment, changed everything for me.
Yeah.
You know, because immediately after, I told myself, okay, I'm gonna be a poet. Let me try this, and then I started writing, performing in college. So they had someone who was going to go for the college poetry competitions, and then the lady, when I told her I also want to try out, she said to me, I don't trust you. You don't look like someone who would actually do this.
Yeah.
Then the dude
What
didn't
you
show
mean,
up.
nigga?
Yeah, the dude didn't show up. On the day, the dude didn't show up. So she had
Hectic.
me.
She was stuck with you?
Yeah, she was stuck with me. You
Now
know.
I gotta work with this kid.
Luckily, I win the first slam.
Yeah.
I win the first slam. The second slam, I win the second slam. So I am the only Gauteng representative now.
Oh.
You know, so we go from regional, we go to provincial. Provincial, I win again. We go to national. National, first round I win. Second round they say freestyle. Boy cannot freestyle.
For shit. Yo, those poetry games, CSP used to destroy my spirit. I used to hide and hope that Vusi wouldn't point me out. I would hide.
So I lose the final because of the freestyle. Second year, same thing. Go to the finals again, I lose. I won every single thing apart from the freestyling. Apart from the freestyle.
That must have broken your heart.
It did. It was one of those things that, but come on, you cannot even freestyle to save your life. Something.
Even
Come
when you're speaking
on,
crap, man. Like, just push. Like.
But for me, that changed everything for me. You know, I was like, oh, okay, cool. It seems like I'm good at doing this, so I should really try it. And then I put this idea into my head, Jorge. You know what? At some point, I want to be the greatest performer of my generation, and I'm gonna stick to that. And ever
Alright.
since, I've been working towards that. I'm far from that, but then I'm still working towards that.
Jumping back to Mutle's statement where you said if you work hard enough at it, eventually you'll be good. Do
Yeah.
you then believe that hard work trumps talent?
Yeah, if talent, yeah. If ever you have all the talent in the world, but then you're not putting in the work, then the person who's hardworking, eventually they will pass you.
So with how far you are, do you praise the talent or the hard work that you put in? What do you put your career to? Is it the hard work or the talent?
The hard work, definitely
Yeah.
the hard work. I spend sleepless nights working on it every single day. I don't just rehearse when I have a show. I rehearse every single day. You know, I'm an artist
That's a
every
good
day.
habit.
I'm an
Teach
artist
us your
every day.
ways.
Yeah.
Teach us your ways. Oh no, we would kill each other if we had to rehearse every day. We would kill each other. We
Okay,
genuinely would.
now we fast forward to 2019. You're working with Poetic Thursdays, doing some management there. You're on the Word and Sound stage. You're getting to top 5 and whatnot. What do you gain from these spaces as an artist?
You get to learn that there are different ways of doing this.
Okay.
You know, you can always stay true to your voice, but then it doesn't mean that you cannot experiment with different ways of doing this, because there are different artists and they're doing it in so many different ways and they're good at it. So there must be a reason why they're good at doing what they do in their way of doing it. So with that, me being on all these platforms helped me learn from them. I was just learning from every single person that I'm meeting. Oh, you're a poet. Okay, how do you do
What
this?
was to learn as a project manager at the Soweto Theatre?
As a project manager, I got to actually talk to all the artists who were performing at that space. You know, so by doing that, they shared a lot of things with me. You know. They taught me a lot of things as well. That it is not always about you getting on stage and just performing.
Yeah.
There's more to it than just that.
Yeah.
You know? Because at first I thought, I'm just gonna be a slam poet for the rest
of my life.
This
Yep.
is me.
Yeah, this is me.
This
This,
is
is my
me.
brand.
Yeah, I was a punch. I feel like I would write punchline poems. Why?
Kilimo.
Every line, punchline. And the ums and ahs get addictive, hello.
Yeah.
I'm
waiting
sorry, I
for
want to
them.
jump in because
Yeah.
you're speaking on what I want to get to. We fast forward to 2020. Now
Yeah.
we have to see Jonathan on a screen. We're not seeing him on stage anymore, right? You're on the Word and Sound Digital Slam.
Uh-huh.
You're doing the Brown Bottle online series with Tepo. You're doing Poetic Blues, which is virtual as well. How does this affect your writing then? Where does
Nobody's
slam
gonna send those snaps.
No one's
You're
snapping.
leaving them in the comments.
No one's snapping. How does this affect your writing? Where do you go with that?
It was a thing of, okay, my guy, now are you still going to be writing those type of poems where you just punchline, no narrative, nothing, it's just punchline after punchline after punchline? Or now is your work going to evolve into something so much better, or something bigger than that? And it evolved into that, you know.
Okay.
So I was more now, okay, I'm looking at stories, okay, how do I build this image? How do I actually follow through on the narrative? How do I build the narrative arc?
And what's
This is
guiding you?
where-
Are you talking to people? Are you
Yeah.
reading books? What are you doing?
I'm talking to people, I'm reading books, I'm watching poets. I have this like on my PC, the folder with the biggest space is poetry.
Yeah.
All of you guys are there. I watch every single person.
Jonathan is a stalker.
Not a
Be careful. When you say all of you are there,
It's like,
No.
don't forget, even you who's contemplating if you're there, you're there.
Yeah.
yeah.
So for me, that was my formula even for slam. Like I wouldn't go to
Watching
slam.
other people do it.
Bro, I'm gonna study you. I'm gonna learn your weaknesses and then I'm gonna capitalize on
Haibo,
that.
what's your Maria's weakness? To capitalize. Woo! Jonathan will catch you on stage.
Luckily, I've never slammed with you guys. So yeah, I would really do that. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I would know how. Okay, if ever you're slamming with Masai, you know, it's Masai. his strongest suit is doing 1 2 3 1 2 3, but then he doesn't do this. Okay, I'm gonna work on that. What he doesn't have. So if ever I work on that, then it means, well, okay, I have something.
Work on your freestyle.
Yeah, my freestyle is better now. You know,
Really?
CSP. Yeah.
So
Now
where
force that.
where do you then sit with? Of course, you have to study your competitor in any sport or whatever. You have to study your competitor, but then at the same time, you need to be true to who you are as an artist. So do you not find then that you're spending too much time trying to cover the gaps that your competitors have in order to win, instead of just focusing on the beauty and the strength of your own work?
I think that's one of the things that are unfortunate about being a competitive person.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you end up focusing on everyone else and you forget about yourself. You neglect the work as well. So you're always chasing the next best thing. How can I be better than him in this regard? How can I be better than him in this regard? But then how can you be better than yourself?
Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
Are you learning that lesson now?
Yeah. I'm always working to
Are
be
you easy
better.
to beat?
Nah.
I like that. Okay, so now we fast forwarding, we're in 2022,
Yeah.
and obviously now you've done the slams, you've done the working with people, then you've done the online virtual thing. Who comes out at the end? Who are we looking at now?
In terms of
your writing, your performance, the art you're giving us.
who are we looking at now?
Yeah.
What is his story?
I think what I'm trying to achieve now is creating timeless work. Yeah. And the thing is, when I started, it was just poetry. I'm a writer, I'm a poet, that's all.
Yeah.
But then I've been fascinated with filmmaking. So I'm trying to take that direction now. So hopefully at some point I'll start creating those stories and putting them out. I've been writing dialogues, a lot of dialogues.
Not Kasesotho.
Not Kasesotho.
Not Kasesotho.
And the one that I've been working on, ke Lerato la Setsokotsane, which is the title ke Sesotho, but then it's an English dialogue.
Yeah.
Way to throw us off. Like
I know, and like I said, I've been working on love content now.
Yeah.
So even Lerato la Setsokotsane.
Are you in love, Jonathan?
I am.
Yeah. Something's going down with this love content.
Whoever you are, tlakomela the boy. Yeah.
I am. So yeah, I've been working with dialogues a lot. I once wrote this Conversations. So the idea behind Conversations was I wanted to create an open dialogue about depression, but then how it was structured, it was me and 3 other personalities. So I'm having this conversation with myself, within myself. So it's like we're sitting here, we're having this podcast, and I just withdraw from the entire conversation. Everyone else is continuing doing what they're doing, but then I'm having this other conversation in my
Internally.
head about what's happening here.
Okay,
But then
okay.
you're not aware. You just say, well, maybe he's just quiet.
Yeah.
But then there's this conversation happening in my head, and I started writing those 2018. I was just writing them, and then only now did I start being more serious about
putting
dialogues.
them
Yeah.
out, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious. You speak on like heavy topics and like your work is very vast. Do you ever speak on shit you don't know about?
Because
Like,
that's a
if you're
very
gonna-
dangerous
If you're
conversation.
going to speak on depression, is this something you experience? If you're going to speak about death, is that, like, do you speak for women? Do you speak
Yeah.
for another race?
Because on the
Do you
Word and Sound
speak-
stage, we saw a lot of like debates and arguments that
Yeah.
came up after the slam, where we're discussing now how are you speaking for a woman,
Yeah.
when you are a man.
Yeah.
And the poll goes back to research and having conversations with
Do
women.
you ever speak on shit you don't know? And if you do, then how do you get the true story? Where do you unearth this story from?
In terms of that, whenever it comes to things that I cannot put myself with, like it is easier to speak from a point of you emphasize or of you sympathizing with someone, ne?
Okay.
So I can speak from that perspective, but then when in terms of speaking for women, I cannot speak for women, but then I can speak about the women that I've I've been around, like the women in my family, and in that sense, I don't even speak in their voice. I speak for my.
So you would never speak in the voice of something you have never experienced,
No.
or someone who walks,
No.
a path you've never experienced.
No, I speak from my voice and from my perspective of their experiences, not I'm speaking from the perspective of a woman. I understand what it means to be a woman. I do not understand that, and I can never speak from that perspective.
Okay, is someone wrong for doing that?
Are you against the whole notion, or
I'm
are you against the
curious.
notion as Jonathan?
As me is something that I wouldn't do, but then I'm not
okay.
against it, because if ever we go to acting, there have been so many characters where men actually assume the role of women, and then they create those characters even though they have limited understanding of that particular subject. And people seem to actually enjoy that, and that's fine. If that's your thing, it's your forte, then cool, but then that's not me. Yeah.
Okay.
That
So
was a good answer. It was
that
a very
was a very
good,
good-
safe answer.
it was very safe. Let's speak about an experience you also had earlier this year. That was the Hear My Voice Poetry Retreat. The platform, that's something that a lot of artists, are now wanting to be a part of. What are we engaging with on the retreat? Which parts of ourselves are we engaging with? Which parts of our work are we engaging with? How are the collaborations?
I think the idea behind the retreat was to actually get poets into one safe space and allow you to be yourself and grow in whichever way you can. And by
What
doing
makes
that,
the space safe?
you can actually be free to do whatever you want, and no one will tell you, "Hore, this is not the way of doing this."
Okay.
Yeah, no one is gonna limit you to anything. You can just be yourself and create whatever you want to create, and everyone will accept it as that. Being around the likes of Mudise, Luleka, so many other poets, Kwena, like all of those people, it was just, for me, I got an opportunity to learn so many things, because they gave me advice in terms of things that I wasn't even noticing. Kwena was telling me that you are part of this competitive space, that doesn't really allow you to be anything else but competitive. When will you focus on yourself? When will you listen to your voice? Because you're listening to everyone else, but then you're never listening to yourself. So he was telling me, like, you've been here, we see you, but then you're still standing on the ledge. You haven't really taken that leap. And that's why sometimes you feel like you're stuck, because you haven't taken that leap.
Do you agree with his sentiment?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you taking the leap?
Now I am.
In this EP, this mysterious
fucking EP that we've been waiting for.
mysterious as EP. Are we taking the leap?
Jonathan,
Are we
is it coming?
jumping?
Is it coming?
It is, man.
It is. He says it's coming, guys.
We're holding them to it. Did you take the jump with that EP?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm experimenting with this one, man. Man. I don't even know what to call it. It just sounds different. That's all.
Please don't call it Untitled.
No,
We
I
are
wouldn't.
sick of Untitled.
We are tired.
Name your poems, guys. We're also working on ourselves here.
I would.
Yeah.
I just hope people will enjoy it. But then people will enjoy it.
Yes.
Yeah,
You put in the work.
You better enjoy it.
What phase are we in of the EP?
Now we're just mastering.
Oh,
Yeah.
so the work is done.
The work is done. Yeah, the work is done.
Creepy.
Are we going to have a launch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having a lunch.
Jonathan, you've made a lot of promises, eh?
I know.
And that camera is just capturing
We should
everything.
think about this camera capturing a launch.
Do you have a name for the EP? Is it out yet? Like the name? Have you let people know?
I think for now I'm just gonna let people wonder what's happening.
Yeah.
I'll just let y'all think about it. I want it to be an experience. That's that. Yeah.
That's that. Well, now we're at the end of our podcast interview, which is very sad. But you
It
can
is.
stalk this man. Where can we stalk you? On the socials.
On Facebook, it's just Jonathan Lefenya.
BT, Mr. No Lacking.
No lacking.
Okay.
All day, every day. And then on Instagram at Jonathan Lefenya as well. On Twitter at Abuti Khemere.
What happened to Abuti Khemere?
Abuti kgemere.
When's the debut of Haya,
Nelly taste.
Then
Yeah,
we're just dipping our finger in the bucket.
like-
Timana.
And
Yeah.
then do you have any work on like musical platforms already, or is this your first like musical work that's coming out, over my Spotify, all those
Yeah,
kind of things?
this will be my first musical work coming out. I've had other tracks that I created with the likes of Sobantwana a long time back, but then I never put
Put it
anything
out.
up.
Yeah.
So this will be like my first project out, really, and yeah, I hope people will like it
Yeah.
because I like it.
Do you?
I really, really do.
But
I
is
love
that
that.
not just bias? You have to love everything you fucking do, right?
no.
Have you ever stepped on stage and performed, and when you get off, you're like, what was that?
What the fuck was I thinking? I hope nobody saw that. I hope nobody had their phone out.
Yo, guys, this was a definite favorite interview. Thank you so much for tuning in. We could talk
Yeah.
to this man forever and ever and ever. That EP is coming.
It is.
That theater play, it's also coming. According to the man that's sitting in that chair with me. So, thank you for tuning into the Queen's Fortress. You can stalk us on the Queen's Fortress. That's on Twitter and Instagram. We are Yamoria on YouTube and Instagram. With our
Yeah,
other
and
page,
remember
yeah.
that we still do have our sanitary towel initiative that we're going with. If you have any sanitary towels that you'd like to donate to the Queen's Fortress, please hit us up on the social media platforms. And yeah, we'll find a place to meet, to make the young exchange. Go to Kone.
Please link us to the poem. Tell us why we're hearing this poem that you're going to perform.
Pelo
Pasha.
Hey, I remember the first time we heard this poem, we had Putvusi in the background screaming the whole time. We're like, sir, even though we don't understand, sir.
Please link us into
Oh,
the poem and
man.
we'll bow out.
Sithetsani. Sithetsani was one of the first Lesotho poems that I wrote. And
Yeah.
it was dedicated to that special lady.
Kanti also umetsa.
Like,
No, look, the special lady this time is my grandmother.
Oh, I ain't asking you, Sikoko.
Hare koko, it's your poem.
Sithetsani was one of the first poems that I ever wrote.
Yeah.
Just so to end. It was a new experience for me. Okay, what are you doing, my guy?
Yeah.
Does this even make sense to you? You
Yeah.
reading this and having to actually perform the poem go CSP for the first time and people receiving it that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can do this.
So you can talk almost. So I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna run with this from here. Yeah, and I don't think I'm gonna stop. This is so changing.
Guys, I don't understand the poem fully, but the parts that I can catch do something to me. So please enjoy the poem. This is the Queen's Fortress with Moria and Jonathan Lefenya.
Ke hlobaelwa ke boroko. Sanoka e opa lethekeng la sefako moya tshedisa boima. Ke thekesela mophulosing wa ka lefifi ke hlwella selomo. Pelo teba o thata ho feta lejwe. Qetellong ya bohloko bona ke lerato. Pula ya medupi. Hlatswa lenyora la bao ba robetseng mesemeng ya mobu. Bopa lefito mahareng a sehlopha re lebala mabitso. Re hopolana ka maqeba. Pelo phahla. Thapelo e robale matsohong a sa tsebeng tumelo. Pelo phahla. Thapelo ke matsoho a kopang bophelo.